Right, well, a good morning to you all, and we're just on the inside of 2019. It's a nice dry day, bloody freezing like, so we're going to take the opportunity to go down to the woods for a few hours. The usual, something to eat, brew, fire, and a bit of a discussion. So yeah, it's probably about -1 at the moment, so I'll come back to you in a minute when we get a bit closer to the woodland. Over and out. And here we are again, back to the old familiar subway. Just making my way down now, and traffic's a bit noisy, not as bad as it could be though. I don't think everybody's back at work yet, so it's a little more quieter than it usually is, which is certainly good for your ears and your lungs. And here we go, under the subway. So today, I think we're going to turn right at the end. We're going to go to the bigger woods further down and set up there for a while. So not particularly frosty, which is good, but we have had some overnight low temperatures. And this is where I went in my last video. Just cut down to the bottom and got a brew going, made a little fire. Right, so let's get on the path and get over to the other woodlands, and come back to you shortly when we get there. So over and out for now. And here we are, back in the woods. I've just come off the main road, so we're only about 10-20 metres into the woods, and it's quieter already, thank God. So just gonna have a bit of an explore. I've not been over this way for a while, so we'll see if there's any good spots over here for a brew, and any sort of decent spots for some winter wild camps. It's looking good. Plenty of wood over there for fires and making dens and stuff. So let's just carry on round here and see what we can find. Lovely day, despite the fact there's no sun out, but sometimes you don't need the sun. And interestingly enough, there's some dens over here, quite large, sort of bushcraft type dens. Or it could be, I know some homeless people have been using different bits of the woods to camp in. So I won't go too close. I don't want to disturb people if there is homeless folk in there, but there they are. Then again, they do look quite empty, so I might go over after all and have a look. But impressive little dens, those. I don't know if you can see them really on this this crap camera. So yeah, I think I might go over and have a look, so I'll just switch the camera off in case there is anybody about. Right, well there's nobody about, so do a bit of filming. Somebody's put this structure together here. And then there's another one over there. And there's a big sort of central fire area here. And then there's a bit of a den there, sort of under construction. And this could possibly be a maybe a local group who looks after the woods. But it's certainly an impressive little setup. Like I say, I've not been over this part for a while, so a bit of a surprise to find all this going on. I am really tempted actually to have my fire here, but I might come back in a bit and just have a bit more of a walk round. So I've gone right inside the woods, again somewhere I've not visited this bit for a while. And the noise has gone down considerably, which is good. Got more sort of wildlife, bushcraft type habitat things here. And I've just been looking at this tree actually, the way it's incredible how it's grown. It looks like it's maybe partially been blown down, but its roots have still been intact and it's just carried on growing upwards. So I might stop here for a quick brew, I think. But it is beautiful down here. Time to put the kettle on. So I've had a bit of a change of mind. It's quite close to the path here and there's a few dog walkers been past. So I'll try and find somewhere a little more discreet and a little more quieter where I can make my fire and get a brew on. So come back to you shortly. Right, well I've just had a lovely long walk round the woods, and there's quite a few dog walkers about further up into the woods, so I've decided to come back to this little bushcraft camp here for a brew. It seemed daft not to really, it's all set up. There's a central fire area here, some firewood, so it makes sense to pitch up here for an hour. But what a great little setup this is. And only like a 10-15 minute walk away from where I live. So let's get the kettle on, as they say, and come back to you shortly. Right, so while the kettle's boiling on the fire, just showing a few things about this little camp. Somebody's built a clay oven here, and then further over here there's some carved mushrooms and a little woodland creature, possibly a dog or a fox. And it's blown me a little bit that I've actually found this today. There's my little shambles of a setup there, the brew on the fire. But what a great place, and no doubt I'll be visiting here again. So let's get on with brekkie. Right, so I've had my brew and my porridge, and I've cleared the space where I had the fire. And whoever's camp this is, it looks like it's under construction, but a big thank you from me, as I just found this spontaneously whilst out for a walk looking for somewhere to make a little fire for a brew. And it's not a bad little setup really. So yeah, a good couple of hours this morning, and just going to go and explore a bit more of the woods before going home. Right, so all packed up here. I'm going to have a little bit more of a walk round before heading off home to chop firewood, sow seeds, and do some more soft fruit cuttings. And it might seem a little strange actually that I'm doing these jobs as we're only just in January and we're still in the heart of winter. And I've never been an alarmist or a prepper as such, but I really feel that we really need to try and sort of create our own food security this year, and to try and generate our own resources. There's a number of reasons for this, really. We have the self-evident reasons of collapsing ecosystems all over the world due to human greed and this belief, this foolish belief that all resources are infinite and that we can just take what we want whenever we want, and everything will be okay. Well, everything isn't okay. Everything isn't okay by far. There's other reasons for this as well. We don't know what's going to happen with Brexit. An absolutely ridiculous, absurd farce, and I think whatever happens with it, short of it not happening at all, it's going to be detrimental to a lot of things, really. Probably to people's standards of living, to ecosystems again. So yeah, there's quite a few reasons really, and I wouldn't call it prepping as such. I mean, this isn't about getting a bag of seeds and a shotgun and running off to the hills and just hoping that everything will be alright. I think the way to do this really is to do it with other people, to try and get your friends, your family involved, to get communities involved. If for whatever reason in the near future, if there is shortages of food or other resources, if you've got your family and your friends and your communities doing it, then there's a much greater chance that you'll achieve something, and that you'll be able to maintain a certain level of community self-reliance. And it really is a sad state of affairs that we've come so far with the Enlightenment, the age of reason, the development of science. We seem to have shot off into the future as far as science goes, but as far as the basic human stuff down on the ground, we've sadly neglected it. And not only is it not fair on the planet, it's not fair on a lot of young people who are going to grow up in a world where there's less of everything, where there's a high likelihood of abrupt climate change events. And the thing is, with abrupt climate change events, it could wipe out one of our staple carbohydrate crops, and then the world goes into turmoil. And don't for a minute think that the markets will react in a way where, right, there's a shortage of food, we'll make sure everybody gets some. It won't work like that. So quite a few grim words today for you, but as with a lot of things, there's solutions, and the solutions really to what's happening to the planet and ourselves is to stop being greedy, stop being so self-interested, I'm alright Jack, and think of others really. Think of others, think of the planet, think of people, animals, trees. It's just ridiculous that we've got this far, as I say. So personally for me, next year, well this year should I say, I'm going to be ramping up all sorts of growing. I'm going to be going out and doing a guerrilla tree planting as my contribution to helping the climate to stabilise. I'm going to try and plant as many trees as I can in the areas where I live. There's always pieces of neglected and unused land where trees can go, where they're not likely to be chopped down. And I suppose really we should all be scared, but I've gone through all the negative scenarios of the likelihood of climate change, of starvation, of you know, hills set on fire because it's not rained for weeks and weeks. And still, at the other side of it, there's still something of the burning optimist in me. And I think we can turn this around. Could be too late. It might not be, but I think for the sake of doing what's right, we have to try. And anyway, what's wrong with living in a world that's a little bit fairer, where ecosystems aren't subjected to being ripped down and packaged and sold to the cheapest bidder? There's nothing wrong with wanting a better world. And if you want it, get together with your family, with your community, and let's bring it on. So I think that's enough for me for the moment, and Happy New Year to everybody, and let's make the world a better place. Over and out.